Hey, welcome to the Reddit time. When did COVID-19 get real for you? Talking about true stories today. Let's go. Today, when the government announced they're going to start putting the dead in a skating rink inside a local shopping mall because the local funeral homes don't have any more capacity. Holy crap, I read that some places are saying no one over 65 gets a respirator. The young are easier to save and more likely to survive even if they need a respirator. I can't remember when it was that had to implement the policy. Some spots are removing respirators from older people and putting them on the young too. When I was told by the administration that we had one box of 95 masks in the hospital, ok, that's pretty scary. The Trump administration should have been doing lots of things. Unsurprisingly, they didn't. Now he is talking about opening for business next week. Hope the state governments act competently, because if he gets his way, there are going to be millions dead. My aunt is one of the 100 people that have died in the last 24 hours in the US. She was like a mother to me growing up, and I feel like my childhood just died with her. This is the first death in my life that has me confronting the realities of losing someone close to you. I was planning on going to visit her not too long ago, but the developing concerns over COVID kept me from doing so because she was already very sick. My cautious nature was to no avail because it still killed her. I could have seen her, but I didn't because I was concerned about something that happened anyways. This morning it got very, very real for me. I'm so sorry for your loss. I know there isn't much that some internet stranger can do to make you feel better, but please, try not to take it out on yourself too hard that you didn't make that trip. You made the best decision you could based on the facts you had at the time, and you had no way of knowing what that would mean in hindsight. My thoughts are with you, friend. Stay safe and stay connected with loved ones to help you through your grief. We own a small business. 3 days ago, the government ordered us to shut down. We had to let go all of our employees, including 3 senior citizens who depended on their checks for their livelihood. We have some savings, but not nearly enough to continue to live and maintain the business afloat. The state is not offering enough help for us. We are really in a tough situation. Our employees are also in the same boat. We have a 30-year-old employee who has nobody. She lives by herself and most likely will get evicted, as her landlord is an asshole. Her situation is desperate. This is so sad and so crazy. All of our hard work is going down the drain in 3 weeks. About a month or so ago, when my hospital converted a ward into a negative pressure unit in anticipation of our first patient from one of the cruise ships. We are still changing related procedures and protocols almost daily and prepping other wards to accept patients with pending tests. Honestly, when the death toll in China surpassed SARS, I'm kind of an anxious person anyway, but infectious diseases have always scared me because there is no real control over who lives and dies. Other than my sister, my immediate family acted like I was crazy and overreacting when I told my friend that I had been buying a little extra each grocery trip. She thought I was being ridiculous. She is a nurse and recently told me how real it is to her now. When the whole country of Italy was put on lockdown, that should have been a wake-up call for the world to take it deadly serious. Even for countries where it has become a problem and is trending towards what Italy is experiencing, it's not being taken nearly as seriously as it should. People seem totally unable to really emphasize with things that seem to be happening far away. When I lost my job. That's a bummer. Have you gone on to country payments? Cause that might put your mind to ease. When my college switched to online and I had to move back home, I was living on campus. Same here, definitely not how I expected my senior year college to end. It didn't even occur to me until now that college seniors had school essentially end just like that because of the virus. Sorry to hear that. At my college we probably won't even get a graduation, just a document in the mail. We also had no time for proper goodbyes and a large portion of the student body is international, out of state, etc. I don't know when the next time I'll see my best friend again is. I've honestly been crying, or at least in a very volatile mood, the past couple of weeks, because this has completely destroyed my entire social life, one which I assumed I had until May, with zero closure or clear communication from the admin of my college. I wasn't ready for this. I don't have high school friends. College is the first time and place I found my true friends and a true social life. I was living with two of my best friends in a very nice dorm. Now I'm couch crashing at my mom's and literally sleeping with the dogs. My cousin got sick, was admitted to the ICU and tested positive for it. He's been out of the hospital for a few days but hasn't really improved. He just hasn't gotten worse. I texted with him a bit and it's still really serious. He has asthma as well. I guess it was only a matter of time before it affected somebody I know. As a fellow asthmatic, I wish a cousin all the best. Knowing how shitty the flu can be for me, I can't imagine how detrimental COVID is on the lungs. I wish him the best recovery possible. When my first patient tested positive and I realized I had been in that room without pre. At my hospital, a bunch of nurses were exposed to a positive patient and they are being required to still come into work. I can't wait to catch it from one of them. When colleges and K-12 schools closed, that's not a light decision and the people making those schools are very educated. I immediately knew things were about to hit the fan. Wednesday, the 11th of March. I'm a teacher and that was the first day that we had a meeting about the extremely unlikely odds that we would miss school. By Thursday, we knew that we would be out, but we figured that it would be the week after spring break. On Friday, we knew that we weren't coming back for at least 3 weeks. Now I doubt we go back until next year. When my boss told me that I'll be working from home for 8-12 weeks. Edit. Yes, I could have been laid off. The question was when it got real, not what's the worst things to come from it. Though this is pretty bad for me, as I have treatment-resistant depression that I manage by staying active and busy. My boss told me today in a meeting that we can conservatively expect this for the next 4-6 months. I was what? Not what I wanted to hear, dude. When my SO, who doesn't panic, stays calm in all situations, came home with a big bag of flour and rice. My girlfriend is a wildlife virologist. When she started constantly reading articles during her free time, maybe mid-February or so, I realized it was the real deal. When cases popped up a few miles from my elderly immune-compromised father's home, I started being truly scared for him and others. When Ireland closed the pubs shortly before St. Patrick's Day. When Austin cancelled South by Southwest Film Festival. When I realized that having a bottle of hand sanitizer in my car in plain view might not be a good idea. I was talking to a coworker about how our office still has plenty of hand sanitizer and she said, "Shh, not so loud," and was only kind of joking. My mom found some toilet paper and sent me home with it, and she put it in a bag joking so I wouldn't get mocked for it. And I laughed, but also said, I was actually kind of worried about that though. When Walmart stopped being open 24/7. When Walmart offered 230 weeks paid sick leave for all employees was pretty indicative too. When I realized I should not be able to go home and see my elderly parents, one of which recently got diagnosed with cancer. I went and saw my mom, 79, recent cancer survivor, on the 11th on a whim because I had an errand in her neighborhood. Dad was at work, so I knew I wouldn't be able to see him, and I couldn't stay long but wanted to see her and hug her because it was starting to look like shit was about to go downhill, and I knew I shouldn't visit after that. I probably shouldn't have even gone then, but I hadn't seen her in a month and didn't know when I would again. It was that day or the day after that our governor called for schools to close, and we've been mostly holed up at home since. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I guess the short version is that I'm in a similar position. After thinking we might lose her last year, I'm afraid of what this year might hold. Good luck to you and yours. I hope you see them soon and toast to everyone's health. When my friend in Paris messaged me that France had shut down. I live in France and it's eerie. My town during the day is as silent as it is usually in the middle of the night. Like it's almost 6 a.m. right now and I'm not feeling a difference from yesterday's afternoon. Even more frighteningly, the hospital of my town, who isn't particularly big, we are not even at 20 car inhabitants, has started to clear up room in the emergency department for potential COVID patients. When I went grocery shopping for the first time in several days last week, and many of the shelves were completely empty. Same here, that was about 10 days ago for me. I got home and checked confirmed cases in my state, Pennsylvania, and there were around 20. Then next day it was in the 40s, then the 60s. Today has been a week since we had around 67 cases statewide. We have 650 now, so shit's getting realer every day. When my colleague died, she was the first COVID-19 death in our state. I had seen her a few weeks ago and she was doing great. And then I received a company-wide email that she had passed. Damn dude, that's scary. If you don't mind me asking, how old was she? She was in her early 60s. She had children late though, like her daughter had just graduated high school. I felt terrible for their family. Just heard that the company that serves MLB uniforms is bringing back their workers to start making surgical gowns. This is starting to sound like the factory conversions to war production during the Second World War. It's already happening. Volkswagen is building ventilators, as are Ford, GM, Nissan and Ferrari. At least this time we are fighting a common enemy rather than each other. I have worked in investigations security for 8 years and was always told we can never work from home. Reason being, we have access to millions of individuals' sensitive data and they didn't want to risk it being stolen. 2 weeks ago they bought hundreds of laptops and sent us all home to work. This is mine. I work for a payroll company, one of the largest. They just sent 4,000 employees home. We were asking for it, demanding it actually, and then they did. I woke up the next morning and looked at my sleeping kids whose school is cancelled for the rest of the year and just felt panic setting. I'm thankful I have a job, but goddamn, I'm scared. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you and your family are all safe. Stay home, stay safe, and we'll save the humanity. And see you in the next video. Bye.